Hello everyone, my name is Molly and today I'll be having a conversation with Sabina and Anna. This conversation is called The Power of Transformation, and our aim today is to take you on a journey, to share Sabina and Anna's personal quest with you, to create an awareness of nature around us and to follow the seasons with open eyes. Our world, our lives are filled with a particular ebb and flow, with spirals and circles. We are all on a journey, we are all on a personal quest, whether we are aware of this or not. Life is a journey, quests are personal challenges and stories. The coming together of like-minded people, we hope, adds sparkle and glitter. So, welcome everyone. Hello, nice to see you both.
Hello, Molly.
Anna, how are you? And what's the starting point of this particular journey? Let's start straight away.
Okay. Hello, Molly.
Hi.
What's the starting point? The starting point is my visit in Glastonbury.
Mm-hmm.
It was in wintertime 2016. I went to Glastonbury because I had a lot of struggle in my life. I didn't feel well about myself, and I was looking for a fulfillment. I asked myself what really makes me happy. I asked myself what is really important for my life, and I knew Glastonbury is called a place of transformations, and I was always fascinated of this place.
Because of the King Arthur.
Yeah, because this is an iconic place which is well known for its stories linked to King Arthur, as well as other mythological and spiritual associations. And it's a place full of healing energies and mysteries connected to sacred feminine. And some say also this is a gateway to an extraordinary world. So I visited Glastonbury. It was the beginning, and something happened, and it was actually maybe nothing special, but very special for me. I went to the Glastonbury Tor, which is on the hill, and on the way to it there was extreme change of weather, and I've never had something like this before. It was very, very strange. I experienced 4 seasons on the journey up to the hill, and I admired the change in weather. I smelled the air, I tasted the rain, I heard the wind and felt the sun on my skin, and stand very present on the ground. And it was this moment where I was really full in the moment. I was fully present. I was feeling my body, my whole body, and it was very special. And after this experience, I intuitively make 3 drawings, 2 bunnies and 1 circle.
Okay. Can I just quickly ask, how long was the journey?
How long was the journey? I don't know. It was maybe half an hour, or no, maybe 20 minutes or something like. But it felt like ages because it was such a big adventure.
Yeah, I mean, 20 minutes, 4 seasons, it's going to take a year. So interesting. And Sabina, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, hello Molly, my name is Sabina. Well, my starting point is, I don't know, I have to go back to the very beginning. I was born and I spent my childhood on the southern hemisphere, and I moved to Europe in my early teens. And my childhood consisted really of warmth, lots of sunshine, seaside and wild nature. I also devoured Enid Blyton's books, The Magic Faraway Tree, The Enchanted Woods, The Wishing Chair. Every book transported you into this otherworldliness. And I, of course, also read Alice in Wonderland. And when I came to Europe in my early teens, I really missed the warmth. I developed hay fever, and because of that, I started doing yoga early on. And I became totally obsessed with the seasons as I closely observed nature needing to ascertain and to know for certain that summer and warmth were just around the corner. In my mid-20s, I moved to England, and this led to a stronger obsession with the weather. As we all know, in England, the weather isn't all that great, and summer is not something that necessarily happens. But on the other hand, it catapulted me into the realms of my otherworldly books. It catapulted me to stone circles, to Avebury, to Tintagel, to Avalon, to King Arthur. And oh my God, I so love the National Trust, the ancient and historic sites, the bookstores, the cafes. I love that ghost stories and fairies are very much ingrained in the British psyche, as is their love for the Celts. And in one of these bookshops, I stumbled across a Celtic calendar. And I was so intrigued by the fact that it was based on an ancient Celtic bronze tablet found in 1897 in the south of France. It states that spring, they call it Imbolc, starts early February, Beltane, summer, early May, Lughnasadh, autumn, starts early August, and winter actually starts end of October with Halloween. So I was super impressed, as I had come to similar conclusions.
Okay, so it's a different calendar, right? I mean, starts in the end of August, in October, end of October, right?
Yes, so winter starts end of October, exactly.
Okay, so why is there this difference in calendar changes? Why is the Celtic calendar so different to other calendars?
Well, I think it's not really that different. I think that they just had to, simply for the sense of survival in our temperate Middle European climate, had to very much observe nature and had to become very clear when they can sow their seeds, when to harvest, when to expect summer, etc., etc. And so for the pagans and for the Celts, the most important date of the year was the winter solstice, because then they knew, the year has ended and the new season, the days will get longer and the new seasons are coming.
Okay.
And if you really observe closely what happens in February, early February, the light changes, the days get slightly longer, the hazelnuts flower, that's why I got loads of hay fever early February, and the days get markedly longer, and there's just a change in the air. And then if you look in May, May, nature is in full bloom, everything is at its height, May, June, July. And then especially I found in the UK, not so much on the continent, but you can really feel a change early August. But Anna just mentioned before we started the interview that this is also tangible in Poland, that August already brings cooler weather. Definitely the days are getting shorter and the energy just changes. And so again, at the end of October, funnily enough, that's when we all switch our clocks back to winter time. So it's a big jump into the darkness. And I think it's just by close observation to nature that they came up with this. And I think it's actually super accurate.
So interesting. Okay, so Anna, would you be able to discuss what happened after Glastonbury in this? I mean, you mentioned the development of the bunnies.
Yeah, so what happened after Glastonbury? I realized this experience was actually something like a treasure chest, because I always found something inside, but
So it like sort of unlocked this key into
yeah,
this treasure chest.
absolutely. And so it starts with the bunnies, and the bunnies has become a central theme of this transformation and this project. And I brought two bunnies, two drawings to Berlin, and I look at them, and of course they start to multiply. Two bunnies start to multiply,
As
and
bunnies do.
yes, sure, the nature gives us the gift to multiply. So I was so excited about it. I start to draw and draw and draw, and at least I created a series of drawings with 22 bunnies.
Wow.
Yeah, so
All in one canvas or something?
no, it was 22 pieces of paper, but I was really obsessed and was working every day on bunnies until I couldn't anymore. But it was great because I was really in a good flow, and I realized that the bunny is a guide of balance and of fast making decisions through silencing your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it brings you a good fortune and well-being, and when you are aware what's going on, when you follow the bunny, you will be conscious of all actions and thoughts, and you start to attract only the positive aspects in your life. So a bunny is a huge symbol, and it's a symbol of fertility, growth, happiness, vitality, fear, adventure. I saw there is such a huge team, and my bunny drawings turned into characters and get meanings, and by time I've got a whole story. So it's really exciting because the main bunny becomes a young girl
Mm-hmm.
who goes on an adventure into unknown, and
Sorry, is this for a book or?
yeah, it's the whole story. It wasn't planned.
Okay.
I just created two bunnies after this series, and I just developed this team, and at least I've written this story which is based on all my experience and my whole research in this topic, and I've got at least a story, a book, and I put it in the book, and it is a hero journey, and the journey comes full circle.
Wow. Okay. So this idea of the bunny. What did you have a? How did this start off? Did you see a bunny around? Like, where did this bunny symbol come from?
Yeah, that's a great question, because actually I haven't seen any bunny, and I had a time when I asked myself, where does the bunny come from? But it's really when you realize that there is so much happen in the present moment, and it's about understanding the symbols of everyday life.
So it just popped into your head.
Yeah, and when you see what the bunny means, it's always the bunny is something what takes you to the journey, and it's a power animal.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, when you see the bunny in the art history, or what it means by people, they are working with transformation, it's always the same. When bunny comes into your life, it's time to go somewhere. It's time to go to the unknown and make your journey and open yourself for the new.
So it's featured in art history. Would you be able to elaborate on where you've seen it in art history?
I mean, there are many examples. For example, Joseph Beuys has a bunny, or also Walt Disney. Before Mickey Mouse, there was also a bunny.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's
Bugs Bunny.
yeah. It was
Of course,
yeah.
of course.
Yeah, so there are many bunnies, and it was always a symbol, something in between.
So you were gifted with the bunny. It felt like it sort of just came into your life.
Yeah, it just came into my life, and it wasn't easy at the beginning, because when you start a journey, it means you are afraid to leave your beloved stability, and you start something, you start a journey, and
The bunny gifted you.
yeah, when you are on a journey, you know something happen. You will make experiences. You will have challenges. You will, you will also have crises, and you never know what happen. And of course, you trust there is something, and the bunny is the right thing to follow.
I see.
But you have no guarantee. You never know what happened, and you trust, you achieve your goal, but usually something happen on the way, and you discover something completely else, something what is much more meaningful, and something what gives you peace. It's a kind of wisdom, or it's a kind,
thing.
yeah, it's something what gives you a new perspective for a long vision.
Okay, that makes sense. So Sabina, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned the Celtic calendar. What else? Could you talk more about this Celtic calendar and what you've learned from this?
Yeah, sure. So, like we came across earlier, that they really observed nature and found these very minute changes in the seasons, and basically the energy changes. But what I find equally fascinating is that Celtic culture and traditions have survived for such a long time. And if we look closer at the dates set on this bronze fragment, we realize an impressive longevity of pagan rituals even in our everyday lives right now. Like, so the Celtic year begins on the 31st of October. Samhain is the word for winter. It's in Christianity, it's All Saints' Day, but also we have kept the pagan ritual of Halloween, which is today even more prevalent, and which is very fascinating.
Oh, so that's Celtic. Halloween is Celtic.
Yeah, it's pagan. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And then comes the winter solstice, which is the most important Celtic and pagan festival, because then you knew that the year was changing and the days will get longer. And when we look at the Christian calendar, it very much coincides with Christmas and the birth of Christ. But when we look at the symbols that we put into our house for Christmas, those are again pagan symbols. We put the green evergreen tree, we have baubles, we have glitter, we have candles, and the baubles represent the circle of life, the circle of being, and the tree represents that life goes on, even though if you look at nature, everything is in deep hibernation, and you can't even imagine that everything will spring back to life. But it does. And then the 1st of February, the Celtic beginning of spring, the Christians they named it Candlemas. It's obviously also that light comes in Ireland. It's St. Bridget Day. And then May, we have the beginning of summer, Beltane. In Germany, it's celebrated as Walpurgisnacht, the night of the witches. And obviously, it's not the same date, but the big Christian festival of Easter, obviously the Christian tradition of Easter is the story of Jesus Christ. But again, what we celebrate in everyday life is Easter eggs and bunnies. And bunnies and Easter eggs have nothing to do with Jesus Christ's story of what happens to him and his demise on those days, but it's the bunnies and the eggs are all about life, fertility, sexuality, celebration of summertime. So I just find this it's totally fascinating. And then we have autumn, there's the summer solstice. And actually, I wasn't so much aware of that, but it's in Christian tradition, it's St. John the Baptist fires. So in the mountains, but also pine regions in Europe, you see big fires on all the mountains. And it's so what has happened, obviously, and it makes perfect sense that when you introduce a new religion, like Christianity was a new religion which followed paganism, to make the transition of the people easier or to convert them quicker, let's say, it was better to celebrate things on the same days or the same timings. Okay. And that's how it happened. But funnily enough, for us in our everyday world, we have baubles for Christmas, we have an evergreen tree, and for Easter, we have bunnies and Easter eggs. And eggs, so the symbolism is very different to actually the Christian religion.
Yeah, but it's also that you don't even think about it.
No.
You become so unconscious about what's actually going on.
I know, which is totally, it's totally crazy. Yeah.
Also, at summer solstice, there's Stonehenge, right, which is very near Glastonbury.
Yeah.
They're very much located, and I don't know much about Stonehenge. Does anyone else know anything about Stonehenge and this sort of it's related, right?
It's an ancient, obviously sacred space and location, which was also built like Christianity built cathedrals. They are always geographically pointing east to west, and the stone circle at Stonehenge is set and located in such a way that the rising sun on the winter solstice falls through these exact two huge standing stones. Yeah. So it's like a calendar as well.
See.
It's like a sundial, like an enormous sundial.
It's circular, right? So it's these big, large stones, and they're set in a circle.
Exactly, and they're set in a certain way that at the winter solstice, the sun rises through these particular headstones.
Yes, I see. Thank you so much, Sabina and Anna, for having this conversation with me today. This is the end of our first conversation. Thank you for listening, listeners. And for the second conversation, we will be discussing more about Anna and Sabina's collaboration, the elements, awareness, and lots more. Look forward to seeing you there.